Let's discuss about the conductance of the electrolytic solutions. So in that we are going to study the electrical resistance as well as the electrical conductance. Let's start with the electrical resistance. Resistance, you know this one, that is nothing but the R, right? So the resistance of any material. So we are going to define this resistance. Resistance of any material which is directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to, I mean 1 by A, inversely proportional to the area of the cross section A. So this is called the resistance, this is called length, and this is area of the cross section. How much area that current should pass, that is called area. R, we are going to write it as R. In order to remove this proportional constantly, that is R equal to rho L by A. This rho is nothing but the resistivity. This is called resistivity. This is called resistance. You should not be mixed up here. This is resistance means it is different and resistivity is the different one. So when you put L is equal to 1 and A is equal to 1. When put L is equal to 1, A is equal to 1. What happens? That becomes R is equal to rho. I mean the resistance that should be equal to the resistivity. When we are saying the resistivity, that resistivity is nothing but the resistance when 1 meter length, that is called length, can be measured in the meter, right? So A is meter square. So when it is equal to, length is equal to 1 meter and area of cross section is 1 meter square, then we are going to define the resistivity. So you know this one, resistance. Resistance can be always measured in terms of the ohm, right? That is called OHM. Ohm means like this. These are the Greek words. So in here we got the ohm, but we are going to find out the units of the resistivity. What is the units of the resistivity? Because we know this one length, right? Length can be measured in the meter, area of cross section is meter square, ohm is nothing but the resistance. Now we are going to find out the units of this resistivity, that is called. So now I am going to take rho as it is here. Rho is equal to, I am going to multiply R into A like this. So R into A divided by L. That is vice versa here. So in order to find out this resistivity unit, so R into A divided by L, right? Resistivity we are going to find here. R means that is in terms of the ohm. You should write like this, ohm. A means that is area of cross section. That is called, we are going to measure in meter square, and this is L means the length can be measured in the meter, right? So this meter square meter cancel. Remaining is ohm meter. So the resistivity unit is nothing but the ohm meter. So resistivity can be defined as, resistivity is nothing but the resistance when 1 meter length and that is area of cross section is 1 meter square. So this is about the resistance and resistivity. We have discussed the electrical resistance. Now we are going to discuss about the electrical conductance. So conductance can be designated as the G. G is nothing but the conductance. So what do you mean by this conductance? Conductance is nothing but the inverse of the resistance. This conductance is nothing but the inverse of the resistance. Inverse means that is G is equal to 1 by R. Conductance is the inverse of the resistance, right? So if we are going to measure the unit of this conductor, the resistance is ohm means, what about this inverse? Inverse means mho. So this mho. MHO. Just we are going to reverse this one. So here G is equal to 1 by R. That is called inverse of the resistance. What do you mean by R? R is nothing but the rho into L by A, right? So 1 divided by rho into L divided by A. So when I cross multiplication here, it becomes A divided by rho L. So A divided by rho L. Now I am going to take it as G is equal to A by L. I am going to take as it is. A by L I am going to take it as it is. When the inverse of the resistance is nothing but the conductance means, automatically we are going to define here one term that is called resistivity. Rho is nothing but the resistivity, and also we are going to take one constant that is called K. K is nothing but the conductivity. We are going to familiar with the two words, resistance, resistivity. Here the conductance and conductivity. So what do you mean by this conductivity? Once again, conductivity is nothing but the inverse of the resistivity. So that's why it is 1 by rho. This 1 by rho, I am going to take it as a conductivity, and here 1 by R, that I am going to take it as a conductance. So that is G is equal to K into A by L. So when G is equal to K, so this is called conductivity, or we are going to term as the specific conductance. when G is equal to K, when it should be G is equal to K, when A, area of cross section is equal to 1 and length will be 1. So that is called the conductivity of a substance is nothing but the conductance when it is 1 meter long and its area of cross section is 1 meter square. So let's find out the unit of the conductivity. So this conductance we are going to it is one more unit that is called Siemens. Siemens is the unit of this conductance. So now I am going to take this K1, right? K is equal to, so G into L, this is cross multiplication, G into L divided by A, right? So G means nothing but the Siemens. We are going to write as a CS, Siemens. Length means it should be measured in the, that is its unit will be M, A means meter square. So this time this will cancel. What is the remaining? That is called S per meter. And also we are going to call as Siemens per meter. That is the unit of the conductivity. So here once again resistance its unit is ohm and conductance its unit is Siemens. So resistivity its unit will be ohm meter, whereas your conductivity its unit will be Siemens per meter. So this is about the electrical resistance and its conductance. Based on electrical conductivity, the materials can be classified as like this: conductors, insulators, semiconductors and superconductors. I think you are already familiar with these terms in your lower classes, right? So let's define one by one. Conductors means the substances which allow the passage of the current through them. Those metals we are going to call as the conductors. Or we are going to tell that the conductors is having the capacity to conduct the electricity or electric current. So that is called conductors. Examples: metals. Yes, metals they have the high value of this electrical conductivity. So example copper. Yes, copper is the best example for this conductors, and gold, silver. So these are the example for the conductors. Next one, insulators. Insulators means they do not conduct electricity. Example glass. As you know this one, glass. In that glass the current is not passed through air, right? That is the example for the insulators. Third one, semiconductors. Semiconductor means which lies between the conductors and insulators. The substances is having the electrical conductivity between the conductors and insulators, that we are going to call as the semiconductors. Example: silicon, germanium. So these are acting as a semiconductors when you are going to dope it with some other metals. Last one is called superconductors. Superconductor means they should be having the zero resistivity and infinity in the conductivity. So those materials we are going to call as the superconductors. Examples: mixed oxides. In earlier days, actually they were believed that superconductors having the mixture of the metals, that is called alloys, at 15 Kelvin. So they are going to be act like this. But nowadays, so the mixed oxides are also showing the properties like zero resistivity as well as the infinity conductivity. Let's discuss about the types of the conductors. So one is metallic conductors and electrolytic conductors or ionic conductors. So let's difference between them. So let's discuss here. So first one, metallic conductors. So when you take the copper wire, when you are providing the electricity, how the electricity is going to be supplied in the copper wire? So that is nothing but the movement of the electrons. So usually we are not going to see it properly by our naked eyes, right? So that is nothing but the movement of the electrons there will be there. So that is called the metallic conductors. So that is called movement of the electrons takes place in the metallic conductors. Example is copper wire, right? So here ionic or electrolytic conductors, ions, as the name indicates, ions. That is called migration of the ions. Migration of ions takes place in the electrolytic conductors. The migration of ions. Suppose if I take the example, that is called NaCl, Na plus and Cl minus in the water, right? So that like this would be there. Second one difference in the metallic conductors usually takes place in the solid state. Usually takes place in the solid state. Example copper wire, right? Copper is a metal. Metal is nothing but the solid state. So whereas here ionic conductors usually takes place in the solution state or molten state. So when you are going to dip the NaCl, so that is called electrolyte. When you dip it in the water solution, water is nothing but the ions will be there, H plus and OH minus. So that is called solution state. Third one, here there is no chemical change takes place here. No chemical change takes place in the metallic conductors, whereas in ionic conductors there must be a chemical change. There must be a chemical change, because if you take the two electrodes, when you are going to dip it in the solutions, right? So what happens? There will be the reaction takes place, like anode, cathode, like this will be takes. Oxidation takes place or reduction takes place. I mean, some of the metals loses the electrons, or some of the metals gains the electrons. There is a totally chemical change process which should be happen in the electrolytic conductors. And last one, whereas this is inversely proportional to this metallic conductors, because when the temperature increases, these metallic conductors decreases. As the temperature increases, conductor decreases. But whereas this is ionic conductors, what happens? The temperature increases, its conductance also increases. Why? Because here what happens? Suppose you are going to take a sodium chloride salt, you are going to dissolve in the water, right? So if you take the excess of the sodium chloride, what happens? You are going to apply some energy, right? Or you are going to take use of some heat, you are going to apply the heat. So that is nothing but the temperature. When you raise the temperature, the migration of ions, that will be speed of the reaction, or the ionization, the mix-up of the ionization, that takes very high. So that is called, when temperature increases, the conductors in the conductors, this conductors also increases, but whereas this one is so vice versa. So this is the difference between the metallic as well as the electrolytic conductors. Let's discuss about the types of the electrolytes. Electrolytes is nothing but that conducts the electricity or electric current as a result of the dissociation. I mean, how the positively charged and negatively charged, how they are going to be dissociated when dissolved in the water. So that is called the electrolyte. So here types of electrolyte means, first one is strong electrolyte and second one is called weak electrolytes. Strong means they dissociate completely when they are going to be dissolved in the water, so that we are going to call as the strong electrolyte. Suppose the examples is NaCl. So this is NaCl. Now I am going to take in water. So what happens here? So that is forward reaction. So that becomes the NaOH and HCl. I mean, they are going to be dissociated completely when dissolved in the water. So that is called as the strong electrolytes. You can give the example NaCl, KCl, right? Or you can do the NaOH, HCl. So these comes under the strong electrolytes, because they are going to be dissociated completely when they are going to dissolve in the water. Second one is called weak electrolytes. Weak electrolytes means they dissociate partially when dissolved in water. Suppose if I take the example as the acetic acid. And acetic acid, when you are going to take out in the solution, when you are going to take in the water, what happens? There will be called partial dissociation will take place here. Partial means like CS3 COO minus, so H3O plus. Like this, the partial dissociation will take place when acetic acid, when you are going to take it out in the, when they are dissolved in the water, so they form the acetate ions and hydronium ion. So like this, one more example, acetic acid and ammonium hydroxide. So these are the examples for the weak electrolytes.